In so many ways, this project has changed the way I think about identity and belonging, and self. I think it's been so connective to hear. We've had lots of experiences where we've shared bits of our stories, and to just hear all the ways in which it's almost like there's all these multiple threads that like tie us all together, it's not like we're all the same, but it's like, oh, we've got these shared threads and all together it all links up.
I think I gained more confidence in myself. I think a lot of it was that I was afraid to call myself an artist. I didn't want people to make those expectations, to have those expectations as an artist, because once you claim to be an artist, then you're expected to know certain things. So I was always afraid to call myself an artist, but now I can. I feel like I can put out my work without feeling that fear. I've met other artists, they have the same fears, and you know, I'm really grateful that I got this opportunity.
It's taught me a lot. It's taught me about intuitively creating. It's taught me learning and loving your mistakes in your artwork, and also just talking with everyone. Part of the project has really widened my approach in art. I think Multiplicity has influenced my artistic journey massively. Firstly, it's created the space and a narrative for a piece of art, two pieces of art actually, that I've been planning and wanting to create for a number of years. And then all of the other pieces of work that I've created have either been as a result of a workshop or as part of interactions with other artists.
I don't really know what the experience is of belonging, and I'm not really that sure of how to describe my identity. So I actually kind of almost flipped the script on the themes, and I looked at what it means to not belong, to live in a place and feel disconnected from things around you.
I would definitely like to keep exhibiting more. I think it's really led me to push myself, and I've really enjoyed working collaboratively with other artists, so that would be something I'd love to do more of. I've also worked on sort of like socially engaged, participant-led projects in the past. And I think now that my individual practice has come on a bit further, I would love to go back to that kind of work. So making work collaboratively with different groups of people would be really nice too.
I'm Dea Neil Hopton, and I'm a multimedia artist and a multidisciplinary artist and a craftsperson.
My name is Molara Adeshigbi, or Awen. I have been creating things for half a century probably, and I'm kind of multidisciplinary. I like to work with fabric a lot. I like to work with stories. I like to work around injustice, around what's happening in the world, and around kind of people's journeys, I guess.
My name is Elena. I am of Yoruba and Scottish heritage, and I live in Mid Wales, and I've been here for about 15 years. I haven't seen myself as an artist or even as a creative for most of my life, but I've always been creative. I've always been making things, doing things.
I'm Manise, named after my grandmother. I have Turkish Cypriot heritage from both my parents. My artistic approach is traditional work. A lot of it is manuscript, tezhib Islamic illumination, Persian miniature art, and a lot of the traditional old school ways of art.
My name's Della Anderson. I would consider myself a multidisciplinary artist. At the moment, I've been working on a lot of printmaking and exploring textiles as well, but I also love to paint and use photography in my practice as well.
My name is Simangali Sosibanda. I'm normally called Sima for short. I'm originally from Zimbabwe and I came to the United Kingdom about 20 years ago. So I've really enjoyed my time here, and my usual artistic medium is acrylic. So I enjoy using acrylic paints and perhaps pastels as well. Those are my two favorites.
This project is a off-branch of a larger project called Perspectives, which has been put together through the Museums Wales, Art Council Wales and the Welsh Government Anti-Racism Fund. So it's looking at ways that artists can influence museums and galleries, to look at ways of decolonising. This project here, the Arts Centre has quite a strong connection with its community, and I kind of wanted to build on that. I wanted to see how we could build stronger structures and invite artists into this space to really kind of look at how things have been done. In terms of like actually the multiplicity side of things, for my kind of personal artistic journey, a lot of my work is looking at how the experience of people of colour is so multifaceted, and it isn't just this monolith of blackness or of brownness or of being a person of colour. I really wanted to display the variety of creativity within the black community as well. So it was very important to me to use this opportunity to uplift and create space and provide support for other artists.
Felly fel y ganolfan, mae fe'n bwysig iawn i ni bod y celfyddydau i bawb, i bob cymuned, a bod pobl yn gallu mynd ati i ddod i'r ganolfan a teimlo fel bod croeso iddyn nhw yma. Ond o'n i'n ymwybodol bod angen wneud i ni weithio mwy gyda cymunedau ethnig a diwylliannol amrywiol. Felly, pan welon ni'r cyfle gan y Cyngor Celfyddydau a Amgueddfa Cymru i roi mewn am gyllid i'r prosiect yma o'r enw Safbwyntiau, Perspectives, o'n i'n gwybod bod rhaid i ni roi mewn i hyn. A mae'r cyllid yma wedi'n galluogi ni i weithio gyda artist o liw, sef Jasmine Violet, am blwyddyn y hanner, ar greu cyfleoedd i artistiaid o liw i weithio gyda ni. O'n i'n teimlo fel bod angen wneud rhywbeth, achos o'n i yn cael arddangosfeydd gan artistiaid amrywiol yma, ond mae'r nifer o'r ceisiadau ni'n cael yn isel. Felly, o'n i'n gwybod bod angen i ni wneud gwaith ar hyn, a mae gweithio gyda Jasmine wedi'n galluogi ni i greu cynllun gweithredol. Ni'n gallu gweithio arno yn y dyfodol a creu gwaddol i hyn. Rwy'n credu bod yn bwysig tu hwnt i greu cyfleoedd fel hyn i artistiaid o liw, achos bod angen mwy o leisiau yn yr ystafell. Mae angen lleisiau newydd, lleisiau o safbwyntiau gwahanol, achos mae hyn yn cynrychioli y cymuned cyfoes ni'n byw yn heddiw, y Cymru amrywiol ni'n byw yn do.
Hi, my name's Joshua Donkor. I'm an artist. I'm predominantly a painter, portrait painter, and I'm currently up in Aberystwyth delivering a visual storytelling workshop. So we sort of started the session with, I think, around 6 artists who will all then be pairing up and working together to exchange their own stories, their experiences, and their own images, and create some sort of visual interpretation of one another's lives. So this workshop's kind of inspired by, I guess, my practice and the way I work. I think it's really beautiful because I think the whole purpose of this workshop is to help people explore one another's stories. And as soon as we came in, and as soon as the images were laid down, so all of the artists came in with printed images from their lives. And as soon as those images hit the table, everyone was automatically having conversations and finding commonality within those conversations and those images. And that's something that's really precious, I think, with photo albums. They're so universal. Regardless if you share exactly the same background or not, you recognize the dynamics that exist within that. You recognize how the mother looks after the children, or how the little naughty kids are sitting on the wall. There's always a really beautiful universality to all of that. I think that's, like you say, everyone has different ideas. Everyone has different ways of visually creating, and everyone has such unique stories and connections to their heritage and their history. And I think for me, that's what my practice has always been about. And I think it's a really important thing to be able to share our experiences and our unique perspectives. And for that to become a normalized thing, for it not to be this sort of monolithic portrayal of identity, for it to be individual stories, individual people. And I think in general, in our culture and society, the way we move forward, the way we get along with one another is by understanding each other. If you build a bridge between two people of different perspectives, upbringings, cultures, to the extent that they can understand each other, hopefully they can then move forward together. And I think that's a really, really crucial thing, and it can be a really beautiful thing. And I think art has a huge role to play in that. And hopefully this workshop and hopefully sort of my art sort of lends into that as well.
My name is Adeola. I'm an artist originally from Trinidad. I think I would define my practice as drawing and painting mostly. When I came to Wales about 20 years ago, I came with a question about how do I combine my art making with my dance, because I used to dance as well. And then performance art really became the thing that really excited me, rooted in a carnival aesthetic. I think when you come with a kind of sincere way of being and sharing, people connect with you and you're able to connect with other people as well. I feel like the group here, when I walked in and saw the group, I was just like, oh, beautiful. Like I just already felt at home, you know. Yeah, people were themselves and really open. I feel like this workshop is sort of like perhaps an in my head, the word that's coming to me is exciting escape, but I don't know if it's that, because I feel that I'm sure there is learning that's happening, but I feel people are bringing themselves to this. So it's sort of like a process of me, because I'm the one excited. I'm the one kind of going, oh my God, you can do this and you can do that. And wow, yeah, that's a great idea. You know, so I feel like people are bringing themselves to it and sharing an aspect of themselves, but doing it in a way where it's collaborative. We're following our natural instinct, our natural passion, and kind of like moving in this direction in terms of what we're seeing and feeling and responding to that intuition, but also doing it in response to what is happening around us. So we're not in isolation here. We're kind of like, yeah, this is a collaborative effort, but we're bringing ourselves to the collaboration. The most sort of like crucial thing is finding ways back to yourself, you know, and that could look like anything. My mum used to say that whatever you enjoyed as a child, it could be climbing trees, could be playing with animals, could be discovering digging the earth, whatever it is kind of brought you joy as a child. It's useful to have it in your life as an adult as well. And in my learnings so far on my journey, I have found that this journey for me right now is finding a way back to myself. And it is about intuition. It is about gut instinct. It is about sitting in your skin and feeling okay with that.
My name is Muhammad. I came from Egypt. I've been living in Wales for the last 15 years. Like my first degree in Egypt, I done it in chemicals, oil and gas. When I moved here, I chose to do photography. In my work, I'm always work with like landscape, people, bit of documentary, slow documentary. It's always nice to work with creative people, you know. Today, I learn from today, like people like got big ideas, and I work a bit different. I'm more like, you know, it's like two terms in photography. One is called farming, and one is called hunting. I'm like always like hunting. Go outside and make the picture. Some people work different. Some people like just like do a lot of research, like farming the idea and go make the work. I think the workshop mainly to do with portraiture, and I was showing some example of my work, and also how to move images, like if you want to work in a story, if you're making a book, or you're making a zine, or you're making any publication, or you work in an exhibition, like how to select the work, and also how to photograph the person, how to get people in the mood, how to get the best of the people, how to break in the barrier, you know. It's everyone different when you photograph people. Like sometimes it's hard. Sometimes if you got a commission or job, sometimes you got 5 minutes to photograph a person. So like you need like to work fast. You need to understand the person in front of you. You have to make a picture. I'm always nervous like to do workshops because I feel like I don't make sense. But like today, people like really warm, people nice, you know, really friendly. And I think we done something good. Like also I learned from people, like for example, like when Jasmine, like she done the slow shutter speed was, you know, I never work that way. It's not just about me like teaching people. I learn also from everyone. Well, with photography you have to make a lot of picture. I take a lot of picture like every day, like if I can. To learn, like to get better, like you need to produce a lot of work. If you're not making work, you need to study. You need to look at photo books in the library, or you need to, you know, have to do. So if you're not taking picture, you need to learn about or like watching other people work. So always you have to do something with photography every day. Yeah, you have to be obsessed.
My name is Catherine Silver-Sunley, and I am a fine artist working in ceramics. I make hand-built objects, and I fire my work out of my home studio in Wales. I am originally from Jamaica, and I started out as a self-taught artist. Didn't really actually come into contact with ceramics really until 2016. Took some workshops, and I just fell in love with being able to move from doing 2D works to doing more 3D objects, because as like a big collector of little precious things, and I just always wanted to make the kind of stuff that I liked collecting. I'm trying to impart some of that, even though it's intuitive art, and it's kind of like counter to, you know, teaching. You can't really teach intuition, but I am trying to teach the group of artists methods of getting into the zone and, you know, tapping into their subconscious mind and just having that conversation between your subconscious, your consciousness and the clay. Yeah, so we basically started this yesterday. I came in and I found out, first of all, what everybody's familiarity level with clay is, because what I wanted to do was give the artists tools to be able to realize their intuitive ideas. So I did a short course in hand building techniques, especially the hand building techniques that I use, like slab building, coil making, pinching, and then just sculpting from a big hunk of clay. Right now in the room, everybody's really quiet. Yesterday was a really boisterous, talkative day, but today is like a really quiet day where people are just reflecting inwards and just trying to get into that zone where they're not thinking about anybody else. They're just purely in their inside and trying to work, you know, stick it out with an idea, even if it's, you know, uncomfortable, because it can be uncomfortable. You know, you're making something and oftentimes at the beginning it doesn't really look refined, and that can be quite intimidating for people. So I am trying to encourage people to push past that discomfort and to just persevere with their idea and just refine it for the rest of the day. I just wish that I want to impart some practical knowledge, so the hand building, I want them to be able to retain that knowledge so that if they either decide to really get into ceramics, because this is how I started on my journey. I took a basic hand building course in pottery, and I just have that confidence. So I want them to have the confidence from the practical side of things, but I also want them to learn to listen to that voice on the inside. Ultimately, I want them to come away from this with some tangible skills in ceramics, but also with that sort of intangible, you know, innate voice of intuition that we have, just being a bit turned up, trusting that and having the confidence to work with the clay.
It's been very, very, I can't describe the word, it's been very educating. So, you know, when you think you have everything under control, you don't. Mm-hmm. And that's what I've learned with the project, is that you really need to prepare for the uncertain. Things like the weather, your paint's not working properly, your paint's not drying, the material rejecting the paints. So you always have to make room for stuff like that. And that's what I learned with the project. And to try and not stress, you have to look after yourself. And that's the main thing, is that when you stop looking after yourself, and then the work isn't produced. This is it. I find that if I'm not in the mood, then I'm not going to create. There's some days where I feel like I've got such a surge of ideas that I just want to create all day. And there are days where I just do not create anything. Because I didn't think there were that many artists of color in Wales. So when I did this project, I just realized how many of us are out there and how we all connect really well with each other. So it will give me a chance as well after this project to get in touch with other artists of color who may want to work on other projects. So the artwork I did was about my heritage, where I come from, the things that I enjoy, the things that inspire me, the colors that I enjoy seeing. So you will see that right throughout my whole work. The canvas, the mannequin, you will see a lot of the colors, a lot of the same colors on both pieces that I enjoyed. It's really about how I see the world. I want to explore more. I want to see what I'm capable of. I want to take more time to experiment, to ask questions, to connect with more artists. And this project has really opened a big door for me.
I think because we are such a big, diverse group, like we have people from different parts of the world, it's taught me a lot about cultures, and I'm someone who loves to backpack anyway. It's taught me even more so about their own identity and belonging and just finding your roots as well, or feeling home in any place as well. So the work I developed, I started it 1 month in, so I started it quite early because I know I take a really long time with my work and I base it around my child's nap. So I have a 1-year-old, as soon as she naps, I do work, so I've only got 1 hour a day to slot it in. I based my work purely on symbolism, on natural pigment symbolism, and at first I really wanted it to be something where a lot of people can take something different from it, and I wanted it to look like a manuscript, like an open book, and have a lot of, a bit of a mythical sense, because I love folk stories and folk tales. Working with other people of colour and diverse backgrounds has been amazing. It has really shifted my perspective, has made me explore different avenues of art, and has made me really appreciate side by side of other artists, their work, and just exploring their interpretation of art. Because I love symbolism and folk tales and old traditional manuscript work, I'm actually more intrigued to see what the audience think and how they interpret it, because there's no right or wrong answer. I would love to know what they think as well, what they take from it in terms of belonging and identity and the whole project and what it means.
I like to work around injustice, around what's happening in the world, and around kind of people's journeys, I guess, different journeys. I heard about the Multiplicity project from an artist called Daniel Trivedi, whose work I admire, and applied and was really delighted to be accepted into the group of global majority artists doing such amazing work. I don't think it has changed. I don't think Multiplicity has changed the way I think about identity and belonging, but it has definitely reinforced the things that I already thought. For some years now, because growing up I was half caste, and then I was mixed race, and then I was dual heritage. So for a few years now, I've described myself as dual heritage, Jewel. Having been someone who was officially half black and half white, but always being called black. I think just celebrating that multiplicitous existence and what it's like to have to be in different spaces and to fit in. I think having those conversations with the other global majority artists has really led to a good place of kind of acceptance, and actually this is where I am and this is where I'm staying. I'm not going back to sort of being dictated by another group of people as to how I define. This is who I am, this is what I do, like it or leave it.
So, applying for Multiplicity has really kind of been a bit of a journey that I've been going on in the last maybe 3 or 4 years. I think since Black Lives Matter happened, I feel like there's been a significant shift in the way various institutions and various cultural places are thinking about how they fund projects and who they want to hear from. So I think at that point there was for me, a noticeable shift in how people were writing application, like what the application, the wording of applications was. So application isn't really the right word, the word I'm looking for. But I felt like there was some opportunities came up, and when I read the brief, I felt like included. I felt like the language that was being used was saying that I was a person that could apply. The work that I've been developing for the exhibition is there's kind of two central pieces that I've made, and the first piece is the piece that I proposed when I made the application, and that's a multimedia kind of installation piece, and it's really trying to I'm trying to describe or create a sense of what it's like to live outside of the norm, and talking about when people don't have support systems in place, like when you're not really a member of a community, or you're not understood by the people around you, then what happens to people when they're in that other place? So yeah, I think I just kind of tried to gather the materials and try to create a sense of the experience of that. And it also has some information as well about mental health, about basically what happens to people when they don't have support.
I guess like my family heritage for a little while in terms of what I've been making, and so when I saw the open call for this project with the theme of multiplicity and identity, I just thought it lent itself well to things I was already looking at. So in particular, I've been interested in making work about my grandparents, and I think for me it's like by making work about them, it's almost a way of like getting to know them better. So like when I'm making the work, I'm thinking about questions I wish I could ask them that I can't really ask them anymore, and just putting myself in their shoes a little bit more and just trying to understand them. I think I've really been inspired by meeting the other artists on this project especially, and just all of the words of wisdom that everyone's had for each other, and seeing how other artists work has been really useful, I think, and helped sort of demystify that a little bit. Yeah, and I think one thing that stood out to me from the workshops especially is how many artists like love to work in quite an intuitive way, and I think I felt like I have permission to work in that way a little bit more and not have to overthink things and just go with your... I think what I liked about this open call was that it was open enough for me to feel like I could explore what I wanted, because identity is quite a broad theme, and the title of multiplicity even almost leaves it quite open. Like, it's not saying that we have to be one thing as an artist of colour, which is really important. Often I think you can kind of read between the lines for what institutions are looking for, and it is struggle because I guess that's a way of making a political standpoint, but I don't think all of our work should have to do that as artists of colour if we have other ideas for what we're interested in. So I suppose, yeah, my work in this exhibition isn't explicitly about any particular struggle. I think it's more about, I think it's more nuanced than that. So yeah, I think it's good that we should have the permission to be nuanced just like any other artist and not have to, I guess, like, not have to offer up our trauma for other people to consume.
I don't think I could even tell you like all the different ways, like hearing other people's stories that are really similar to mine in terms of background, like people who have a father who's been absent most of their lives, who is the, you know, the like if you've got mixed heritage, like the person of colour bit of your heritage being absent, and what it means to connect with that or not connect with that, and the different ways of like reclaiming that or stepping into that. How we can find a home in movement, I think, has been like a real part of that, like thinking about identity belonging in this project, which is not necessarily a way that I've always thought about it. Like I think I've often thought about needing to like root down and be very stable in order to be at home and to belong. And I found it really freeing to be in a space in which actually like there's something of like movement and transition, which is also, there can also be belonging in that, like in the like liminal or in the transition or in the change. How do I feel about my piece? It's funny how the most obvious questions can like, you're like, oh God. I feel like I like really let myself drop into this process and really think about what was me in being in it and what identity and belonging meant to me. And I can't help looking at my piece and feeling like it's almost cheesy in it. Like some things I've just put in because I really like them. There's a nuthatch in there. I love nuthatches. They're like one of my favourite birds. And like I've put a kingfisher in there because the river near where I live has been a really important part of the River Dovey has been a really, really important part of finding home, finding place for me. Like I go swimming in the river quite a lot. And then when you get to Aberystwyth is where the Dovey opens out into the sea. So there's that kind of connection of place, what water does to land, movement, transition, flow. It's been a really important piece for me in being in flow, like when I feel like my feelings are stuck or when I'm in grief, going and being with the water is incredibly important to me. So yeah, I've got these kind of little elements which, like I said, they almost feel cheesy, they almost feel cliched or something, but they feel very me, like all together the piece just feels very me. And I've felt this kind of, how much of this do I need to explain to other people? Like how much of this do I need to write in a blurb or tell? And I feel like I'm in this kind of, I feel that in this quite grounded place of being like, I've made something that is meaningful because it's meaningful to me. And that feels important enough in itself. And I hope that other people can, find something in it as well.